Look, we simply can't stop and will not stop talking about Heated Rivalry on the show.
I got so many texts from people who were just like, "You're a gay person. Please talk to me about this." Straight girls from high school that I like don't talk to were messaging me.
But today we want to talk about fashion because, like everything else attached to that show, it has gone viral. People cannot stop talking about Shane Hollander's Team Canada zip-up fleece. And now, Province of Canada, the clothing company, has announced that they're finally putting out that fleece or releasing the fleece as per the demand on social media. Hanna Puley is the lead costume designer for Heated Rivalry. She's with me in studio here. Hanna, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for having me.
Hanna, this is normally how the job for costume designers usually goes. They don't normally do a month straight of press about the thing that they did, hey?
Absolutely not. No, it's pretty remarkable. I feel very lucky to have been involved in the show and have my work showcased and also celebrated the way it has. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
What's the last month been like for you?
Well, I'm between jobs right now. I'm starting a new project in February, and it feels like I'm still working, like throughout all of this. Like we often have a lot of time off between jobs or in film. It's like a feast or famine kind of situation, and it's amazing. I've had a lot of new contacts made. I've been talking to so many people. There's so much curiosity about the show and every aspect of it, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. I just the more we can celebrate the show and what it means for Canada and for the artists who live here, I think the better.
Look, the show has gone viral in so many different ways, but one of the biggest things has been this fleece. And so the fleece that we're talking about is the Team Canada fleece that you designed. Mm-hmm. It's worn by Hudson Williams in episode 2. Talk to me about this fleece. First of all, for those people who have not seen the show, can you just describe the fleece real quick?
Absolutely. So it's a very basic white Sherpa fleece. It's about as uniform as it could get in terms of a jacket. I wanted something really wearable and cozy and speaking to Shane's character, which is, pretty subtle. Like there's not a lot of complication to this character on the surface. And I wanted the jacket to feel like something that wouldn't be eye-catching. He's wearing it just as a uniform. Yeah. We added maple leaves and the word Canada on the back, a little bit of red detailing. It's just super simple. Right. Yeah.
Well, that has not been the response that people are having sort of out there. So the fleece goes viral. People are sort of putting out these calls to say, hey, can we make this part of the official Team Canada merch? Talk to me about why you think people are so obsessed with this particular article of clothing. Like, what's speaking to people, do you think?
I think at the heart of it, the show is speaking to people. And I think it's the show that is what is resonating. I think it's the fact that it's really joyful. It's, it's a queer love story in a very real way. It's super inclusive. It's diverse. It's like all the best parts of Canadian culture, I think, is represented in this show. And I think the jacket is just something that allows people to feel part of it. It's like belonging to a bit of a tribe, maybe. Or, it's a uniform for the fans that allows them to feel connected. It's really good timing in terms of the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so that, I don't know that it was, so deliberate, but it was really lucky that that's how it turned out. Yeah.
I will say that, I appreciate your humility. I've started talking about, well, let's put it back on the show. That's totally fair and reasonable, and I'm not going to push you too hard on this. But I also, we're sitting here in a world where last week Hudson Williams gifted the fleece to the Prime Minister of Canada, right? There's a degree of sort of excitement and fervor around a specific article of clothing that is also connected, I think, to the thing that you mentioned about how people are connected to the show. Mark Carney sort of describes it as a part of what Canada has to offer the world in an especially kind of dark moment. Mm-hmm. When you think about the thought process that you put into the fleece and then how hard it has connected with people, do you have an emotional relationship with that, with the degree of people being like, oh, I really need this actually?
That's my emotional connection. I mean, I make a lot of outfits in my life. I tell a lot of stories with costuming. This one is one that it absolutely feels special. It's pretty incredible that people feel, I think, so held actually by this jacket. Yeah. And I think in that way, it's an honor to be part of it. It feels outside of me, to be honest. I don't. I mean, I can't do any of my work without so many other people involved. Like between Rachel Reed, who wrote it, Jacob, who directed it, I didn't come up with the idea of the Olympic jacket. The Olympic jacket already existed in the script. Yeah. I'm glad that my choices resonate so much with people. But at the heart, like, this is a piece of clothing that would have existed whether I did it or someone else did it. I'm glad I did it. I think that it's really cool, and what a nice moment to be part of, that it's so full of joy for so many people. But it's hard to feel like it belongs to me in some ways.
A little bit of what I'm hearing is like being like, hey man, I'm not normally in front of a camera talking about the thing that I can own and the thing that other people can. So it's even in all of that is still a part of like a larger sort of collaborative effort. I
think ultimately there were 4 people actually involved in the creation of this jacket on our set alone. So the jacket aside, someone, Tala and Zoe, the buyer and the assistant costume designer, they helped source stuff for it. Samantha Brittany was our sewer who came in and helped us out, and she sewed the patches on and did all that work. Like there's so much outside of the idea of a thing that contributes to the creation of it. So in the sense, like it's my creation in the sense that it was my idea, but to actually make something takes so much more. And I think that that's an important thing to acknowledge, where even in terms of the fandom and the petition, like Hey Farah is the Instagram handle of the woman who I think started the petition.
The Release the Fleece?
The Release the Fleece petition. And without her, I don't think I would even be here talking to you. Like there's so many other factors at play here. And I think on top of all that, like the politics of the moment require a moment of joy. And I think that this show is doing that. And this fleece, if it's giving people a bit of a comfort blanket sensation and celebrating Canadian culture and what it means, I think that's the thing that feels really great.
I'll tell you this, if I have had the month that you've had in terms of just talking about a piece of your work, I'm not sure that it would be as grounded as you are right now, so I really appreciate that about you. So thank you for bringing that groundedness.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously super exciting.
Yeah, of course.
But the reality is also that a lot of these interviews I've been doing, like, in my house in sweatpants, So it's like,
okay, that's fair. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
You also, I guess, like when you think about all the other looks in the show, I mean, like the fleece is a much more subtle work than literally anything that Ilya wears at all. So Ilya's character, played by Connor Storrie, there is a shirt that has now kind of become iconic, which is like the shirt that he wears in the club scene. You want to talk to me about like that choice, because it's maybe the boldest shirt I've ever seen on television, period.
It's one of my favorites too. It's a vintage Jean-Paul Gaultier shirt. It's I think from the Autumn-Winter collection from 1998. So it's a real vintage piece.
Sure, we all know that.
Of course. Yeah,
the Autumn collection, 1998. Yeah, for sure. We're all familiar with it.
Very feline forward.
Yeah.
But I found that, or I don't know if I found it. Someone found that shirt. Might have been our buyer. Who found it at 20 Maud Street in Toronto, vintage designer clothing store, Archive Threads. It also goes by. And that shirt just immediately spoke to me about, like, it was an immediate Ilya shirt. And I really pushed for it because I think that it's super evocative of his character. It feels very Slavic. It feels very queer also. And I think that in Slavic fashion, like the look itself kind of sometimes veers into queerness in an interesting way. Especially for us with the North American eye. Yeah,
there's like a playfulness.
There's a playfulness and confidence and like overt sexuality. And I think that this shirt speaks to that as well. It also serves as a great metaphor. Like I loved the idea of Ilya feeling like both I know someone mentioned online, like victors in ancient times would have worn the pelt of a giant cat. Like this would be something that someone wore.
Yeah.
But it's also metaphorical of him feeling maybe like a skinned cat as well. And he's wearing it on his sleeve. Like he's literally powerless in this moment because he sees Shane across the room and he doesn't have him. Like he's
doesn't know what to do.
He doesn't know what to do. He's stuck, and he goes home alone. And I think it's such a beautiful juxtaposition of the emotional reality and like what he actually sees happening.
The thing that's striking me about the ways that people are talking about the show in this country is it's like an opportunity to celebrate something that's so distinctly Canadian. When you're sort of designing for a show that is supposed to be so rooted in this country, what's the thing that you sort of, where do you begin? Like, where do you begin with a sense of being like, this is what it feels like to dress a distinctly Canadian show?
I mean, that's a great question. I don't know that I can separate myself from it. Like I am Canadian. I grew up here. A big part of my job is observing. Like I studied anthropology at U of T. That's my background. And I think that my tendency in all of my design work tends to be a bit more observational. And I try to take what I see and mirror it in order to have a psychological representation of character. So that's kind of the foundation of how I work. In terms of the Canadian identity, we're such a diverse country. There are very specific, unique parts that you can see and say, oh, that feels Canadian. I think the cottage, to me, feels the most that.
I agree.
Like, I think anyone who's spent time in Muskoka or up north, or I'm sure like throughout the country.
There's anywhere by a lake, anywhere
by
across
a
this
lake
country.
where you hear loons. Like there's just like this easiness of living that feels very pared down. Like this is where you see those two boys, Shane and Ilya, being the most comfortable in themselves. They're also super youthful. Like they feel a lot younger, I think, than they are in the story at that time. They share clothes. Like there's just such a huge intimacy to it. And that I mean, how can I escape who I am? And then just seeing seeing how they are playing and seeing how people are in real life. I just try to mirror it, I think.
We were talking before you started rolling here at the show, and you talked about having 3 kids who are a little aware, right, of, I guess, like the size that this thing is connecting. Like a part of like their mom's work is connecting in this kind of way. What's the most touching thing that you've heard in response to your work on the show?
Like from the audience or from fans? I had one person message me on Instagram saying how they had a hard time. I can't remember what exactly their identity process was, but they were going through some kind of reimagining of self. I think it was like a gendered experience where they were finding a new way to identify themselves with the world and how to exist in it. And they mentioned how Ilya was serving as a really good example for them to dress and to feel more aligned with their like sense of self.
Wow.
And I think that's kind of amazing. It really touched me because I think anytime that our work can affect people in positive ways, like that's the reason to do it, I think, at the heart of everything.
I don't imagine that you have the expectation in the future of going like, oh, from now on, every job that I do as a costume designer is going to result in TV interviews and this kind of like level of excitement. But is there a thing that you kind of take away from this experience and go, okay, that's the part that I'm taking with me to the next job, that it's going to go sort of inform my approach to how to do this job?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's that maybe we're getting to a point where, or I'm getting to a point where I can have real cultural impact. And by the choices I'm making, I can kind of promote values or promote a way of existing in the world that can serve a bit more of the sense of the world that I want to live in too. So promoting the values that I hold dear, promoting things that feel inclusive or body positive or fun and playful and joyful. That's what I would like to carry forward, I think.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and doing this. I'm I'm glad that you were able to remain this grounded while out there people are just like, give me this fleece or I will die. And it's like a thing that you created. That's a really beautiful thing. So thank you so much for sharing this.
They've made their own, Yeah, that's right.
They sure have. Yeah. Thanks again, Hanna.
Thank you.
Of course, Hanna Puley is a Canadian costume and production designer. You can see her work in the hit TV show Heated Rivalry. She's based here in Toronto. The new fleece will be on sale soon, but here's the thing. It's not exactly like the one that you see on the show or the one that Prime Minister Carney was wearing. That fleece is made by a company called Quality out of Montreal, and Hanna, the costume designer you just heard, added those red embellishments which you see in the show. It's all caused a bit of controversy that's kind of erupted after Hanna and I spoke. Quality is upset its jacket is not getting credit where credit is due. They say their fleece is being used to market the new one. Heated Rivalry producers say it was never their intention to take away credit from the base fleece. That new jacket will be made by a company called Province of Canada. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This show is called Commotion. Have a great day.